I lied to R. Kelly. I met R. Kelly in a food court, and I told him that Trapped in the Closet was genius.
Hey everybody, I'm Jesse Batend, and you are listening to We Still Like You, the embarrassing storytelling show.
And he took out his unlit cigar from his mouth and looked me in my eyes and said, "Thank you, that means a lot." And then I took a picture of him talking to underage girls.
Later on in the show, comedian Aaron Branch stands up for his constitutional rights. But first, I'm pretty sure we all knew someone like Hobert at some point in school.
I went through a very regrettable period that I like to call the tie to class phase. And I wore secondhand suits to film criticism classes. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's a something in high school, right? A nerd, a jock, the girl who chews her hair. Well, in this story, the classy suit guy gets outclassed. From Chicago, here's Hobert Thompson.
I always longed for more. I had a sort of that attitude as a teenager in which I was a pretentious little shit. It all started with the moment that my dad purchased a car when I was in high school that had satellite radio in it. And I discovered the wonders of the Sirius XM station College Alt Rock. And after that first fucking Wolf Parade song, I was a whole different man. And so then I went to college, and I went to college at NC State University, if anyone's familiar with that college, in Raleigh, North Carolina, capital of North Carolina. A much bigger city than where I was from, obviously. And I immediately turned into a monster. I went through a very regrettable period from freshman year to sophomore year that I like to call the tie to class phase. I actually prepared some pictures that I was going to show and then was so horrified reviewing them that I did not do that. But basically, I just got really into. I just finally found the thing that I didn't have in Brevard. I'll just go ahead and say it, Brevard, North Carolina, which was access to music and movies, and I became extremely pretentious about them. I joined the school newspaper so I could write reviews. I joined the school radio station so I could have my voice broadcast to millions as I played songs they had already picked out, but pretended like I picked them. And I wore secondhand suits to film criticism classes. Oh, yeah. And as you can probably guess, I was a straight-up hottie on campus. And so my freshman year, I was like in this dorm that was kind of specifically for freshmen. And I was like, you know what? Who needs these Philistines? I'm going to go find people who have real culture. And so I made my way to the Alexander dorm building. The Alexander dorm building on NC State College was the international dorms. It was where all the international kids stayed. Yeah, it was sort of basically what it was they just designated one dorm that wasn't a dry dorm because all the kids who came from England or whatever wanted to fucking drink, and they didn't want the campus police to be there every weekend. So they had this thing, and so you had a chance to live with a roommate from another country. And a friend of mine from high school lived in that dorm. So I hung out there pretty much exclusively, partying with all the different kids of different nations, and I got really kind of mildly close with some of the Irish kids because, they thought I was Krek or whatever, and they had a really cool setup where immediately this guy from Ireland and his roommate who's from Vietnam duct taped a huge pillow over their smoke alarm so they could smoke in their room, and it was a blast. It was a really cool place to be, and then I met Jenna. Oh, yeah. Jenna was from London, England, which was all I needed to hear at the time. More specifically, all I needed to hear was her accent, which was one of those posh British accents. And I don't know what it was. I think it just awakened some sort of genetic memory in me and immediately activated the servant class that's deeply encoded into my DNA. And I would imagine these scenarios. Basically, what I wanted was for her to be like, "Excuse me, Hobert, could you bring these bags inside? And then after that, head out to the stable because you've been a bad little boy." And I'll be like, "Oh, Miss Jenna, yes, Miss Jenna. Oh, I did fuck up braiding the horses' tails, didn't I? And then trousers down, and I'd be against a hay bale. This will all actually somehow factor into the story that you're about to hear. So let's go ahead and dive in on this. So, Jenna, despite being a junior in college, way older than me, and like, I just want to go ahead and say, just extremely out of my league. Way out of my league. But she, for some reason, was very nice to me, very sweet to me, often flirted with me. Told me how funny I was, which was, again, one of the things I really wanted to hear at the time, and seemed like having me around. So she had a party one night in her dorm, and I went, and we had vodkas and lemonades from the little college corner store, a cocktail that now to this very day still reminds me of this moment, and I cannot have it. And there's a lot of people. All of the dorms showed up. Everyone was all chilling. All the kids dancing to, foreign house music and whatnot. And we got pretty drunk. And here is where it gets weird. So at a certain point in the evening, Jenna comes up to me, and she looks at me and very seriously says, "Hobert, you're drunk. You need to go to bed." And I said, "Yes, I am, and I do." And so she took me by the arm, and then that slowly turned into a took me by the hand, and we left her party and walked back to my dorm. And this was the coolest thing that had ever happened to me. And so just give you a little bit of physical. Okay, imagine this is like a big kind of college campus. So Alexander dorm is like right here, and then there's like one more dorm here, and then there's my dorm. So it's approximately like a 10-minute walk. So we're walking back, and we're walking fucking fast. She's like tugboating me, and I am jazzed. Oh my God. Like, I feel like every person we pass, I should be like, "Hey, about to have sex. Yeah. With a British person. Talk for him real quick." And we keep going. It's getting really exciting. Hearts pounding. We get to the dorm. We get to my door. And once I get the door open, she basically pushes me in. Closes the door, looks at me and says, "Take off your clothes." And so I do that almost, except for I was too embarrassed to take off my underwear, so I was there just sort of boxer clad. And then she said, and again, this is all just triggering some sort of weird genetic memory. She said, "Get in bed." And I do. I got right in that bed, and I was expecting her to follow me. And she did not. Instead, what she did is she pulled the covers up to my chin, kissed me on the forehead, said good night, and then turned out the lights and left. And I laid there for a bit, just trying to wonder, what just happened? And that's when I realized what just happened. I just got tucked into bed by someone I thought I was going to have sex with. And so here is the fun part. So I laid there for a second, thought about it, and then guess what I did? Not sadly masturbate. No, that would have made more sense. What I did was I got out of that bed, I put my clothes on, and I went back to the party. But not just back to the party. What I actually did was I ran. I ran back to the party. I got out there and just like there was something and he was like, "Fly, you fool." And just I'm running across that space of campus, and I get back there. I did take a little bit to just sort of chill out, have some water. So I didn't there was a distinct worry that I would somehow lap her getting back to the party, but I didn't do that. So I got back to the party and walk in there, to see her making out with this Spanish guy. And that's when I realized exactly what had happened. I, the younger guy she had no interest in sleeping with, was in the way. And so she put me in timeout. And I don't know what I was looking for. You know, I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Like I was going to show up and she would be like, "Congratulations, you solved my sex puzzle." That was it. It was just the lightest bondage ever. And so then, after I saw her making out with Sebastian, I left that party, and I never talked to her again, and it was that walk back the third time across that expanse, that was the Green Mile for me. Just going back there so I could sadly drink vodka alone in my apartment. And I guess the lesson I learned is that, you know, I don't think I actually would have gotten along with Jenna. I think I was just sort of fetishizing her foreign exoticness. But ultimately, I will have infinite respect for her because that truly was one of the most boss moves I've ever seen anyone do. And all I can say is I'm really sad it happened to me. Thank you, everybody.
Comedian Hobert Thompson. Coming up, Aaron Branch may or may not need to go to the bathroom. Look, kids are liars. They'll lie about being sick, about not doing their homework. Maybe the most common lie is, "I need to go to the bathroom." It's the body's get out of whatever card. And of course teachers know this. I assume most of the time they just figure it's a battle that's just not worth having. This time, though, Aaron's teacher, she decides to call his bluff. From Chicago, comedian Aaron Branch.
The story I decided to go with was something that I feel actually extremely horrible about. And I think about it every so often, and when I do, it's one of those things where I kind of just get the chills. I went to private school in Kansas City, Missouri. There was a music teacher that I had in middle school. Her name was Mrs. For this podcast, if you could just cut that part out, I probably shouldn't have said her real name. Mrs. was the devil because she wanted us to listen and sing the Beatles all the time in music class. I didn't want to sing the Beatles. I wanted to sing Michael Jackson. And it's really cliche, but what she would say in response is, "Let it be, Aaron, let it be." And I was like, "Well, beat it, Miss." And so Mrs. would also serve as a sub. The same way that the history teacher is always the gym teacher sometimes, or like subs in as the gym teacher. It doesn't make any sense. Mrs. would always sub in as the computer teacher. I also hated the computer teacher. I hated most of these teachers. At the time, I was trying to learn how to type, and typing is very difficult, but her energy and her aura being brought into that room just made me feel really bad. So I raised my hand one day because I needed a break. Again, it's always good to take breaks. And I said, "Mrs. can I please go to the bathroom?" Okay? Mrs. I realized on this day, did not like me either. She said no, which is fucked up, okay? How can you say no to a kid for not going to the bathroom? So 5 minutes later, I raised my hand again, and I said, "Mrs. can I please go to the bathroom?" And she said, "No, you can't go to the bathroom." Did I tell you guys I was in the 7th grade also? I was in the 7th grade when this happened. She said no the second time. So I said, "Mrs. I need to go to the bathroom." And she said, "No, Aaron, I'm not letting you go to the bathroom. You don't really have to go to the bathroom." And the fucked up part was that she was definitely right. And she was completely in the right the entire time. But that pissed me off, okay? It's my constitutional right as a 7th grader to go to the bathroom. I'm not in fucking prison, okay? My single mom is working hella hard for me to be in this school. I deserve rights, and I wanted, water rights and bathroom rights. So I went to lunch, and I saw the principal. After class, we're at lunch. And I was like, hey, Mr. Again, cut that part out. I was like, hey, Mr. I got a problem. He's like, Aaron, what's wrong? And I was like, so I really had to go to the bathroom during computer class. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, but Mrs. wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. I think she had a very important lesson. And he was like, well, what happened, Aaron? And I said, well, I peed blood after class. And he was like, you did what? I was like, I peed blood after class. And let me reiterate, Mrs. wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. He was like, you peed blood, Aaron. That's really serious. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know what to do. I was like, I think you should talk to Mrs. about her bathroom rules and that she should maybe loosen up a little bit. He was like, Aaron, we have to call your mom. He was like, you can't just pee blood and continue on with the day. It's not what's going to happen. So he called my mom. Talks to my mom on the phone. She's like, Aaron, what happened? I'm like, Mom, I peed blood. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah, I peed blood. She's like, oh, okay. Again, my mom was a very hardworking single mom, and I made this woman leave her one of many jobs to come and pick me up from school. And she was like, all right, well, I guess I have to take you to the urgent care. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to do it. Again, keeping up with the lie. And so we went to the urgent care, and I had to pee into a cup, okay? And, I peed in the cup. Doctor took the cup. Test came back. Surprise, there was no blood. And the doctor, and I'm convinced that he was in on the bit, says to me, well, I'm thinking you peed out the blood the first time that you peed, which is very common. So I think it's good to say that you're in the clear right now, but let's just continue watching, and if you see remnants of blood, just give me a call. My mom was like, thank you so much, Dr. Again, cut that part out. And Mrs. got fired. That's all I had to say. Thank you guys so much. Fun fact about Mrs. I will share this. She ended up getting fired from her next job also because she threw a clock at a kid during music class. So I'm just saying.
Comedian Aaron Branch. And that does it for this episode. Huge thanks to comedians Hobert, Thompson, and Aaron Branch for sharing their stories with us today. If you enjoyed today's show, do us a favor and tell someone about it. You'll never know how much it actually helps. If you really want to do us a solid, sign up to support the show on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/we still like you. A couple of bucks a month will keep the roof over our heads and get you something cool. If you want to tell a story at one of our live shows, check out the submission page. You can find that at westilllikeyou.com. We're on Facebook at We Still Like You. We tweet at We Still Like You. I'm Jesse Batten, and as always, thanks for being your terrible selves.